We're live.
Okay.
There we go. So, hello. It is Gameday716 with Noah and Todd, where every day is game day in the 716. Noah's in a super great mood. Todd's in a super great mood. CJ will be joining us shortly. And we're glad you're here. So, today is a very special day because it's Monday. How was your day today, Noah?
It was all right. How was yours? What?
I didn't even say anything, and you're already what? Mine was fine. It was a normal day, that kind of thing. But that's just how things go, you know. So today is a super extravaganza, Lollapalooza kind of game day thing.
Okay. All right. Got that done.
No, it's just finishing up our setup because I pressed the go live button a little early, though it was a little late. It was a little early, so while he waits, while we're waiting for Noah, I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that would be the engagement of Taylor Swift to her longtime 5-year boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, and CJ is coming soon. There he is. Hey, CJ, we were just talking about Taylor Swift getting engaged. So
I had no idea.
Yep. She's been with Joe Alwyn for 5 years, and now she's engaged. And it's a sad day for me.
Congratulations to Taylor. She deserves to be happy.
That's right. Now I'll just have to listen to her songs and sing about her or something. I don't know.
Maybe she'll make some good music now. No, I'm just kidding.
Her last 2 albums were really good. You don't like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at so far. We've gotten really far, and Noah is doing something with his phone. I'm not sure. Anyway, so we are live. We have 2 viewers now. People are watching us from all over the world. Someone today will win Stefon Diggs Funko Pop.
Yeah.
This side. This is what it looks like, folks. If you can see it, someone's going to win it today. I can feel it in my bones. All you have to do is win. So let's talk about what's on the sports docket today. What month? Actually, last night for the Sabres, Tage Thompson in his 51st game got his 20th goal. Tage Thompson was part of the Ryan O'Reilly trade. He was considered maybe the cornerstone because the other guys were guys that the Sabres were taking on salary. So he was the cornerstone young piece. And Thompson is kind of playing well. So the Sabres have a lot of young guys playing well, of course. And it's really nice and having a good time to see. So what are your feelings about Tage right now, Noah?
Well, I mean, he had his first ever hat trick the other night. He followed it up with another goal last night. I mean, this is the stuff that everybody said he was supposed to do, but we didn't know if it was actually true. But I think this actually just really comes to more of Granato knowing how to use Thompson. I mean, he put him with Jeff Skinner, who knows how to also shoot and assist as well. So, yeah, he's having a great year. It comes down to using your players well and knowing how to use them. And that's what you're seeing.
I agree. So the guy who people wanted instead of Tage was Robert Thomas. Now Thomas has 7 goals and 32 assists over 42 games this season. You know, it. I don't know where we fall in line with that, but I think right now a lot of people were criticizing for not getting Robert Thomas, but right now it's looking okay. At least in my opinion. And it's kind of looking like Tage might work out. So anytime you have a 6'7" guy skating down the ice with that kind of agility, is that you think he's agile, Noah? I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Then I think you're in a good spot. The Sabres haven't had a 21 goal scorer or a 20 goal scorer since at least in 51 games in a long time. So that's the Tage Thompson story. So sticking with hockey, it's 1 month until the NHL trade deadline. CJ or Noah, you guys can pipe in. Is there anyone the Sabres should move besides Colin Miller? We kind of know Colin Miller's gonna be traded. He's in the last year of his deal and all of that kind of stuff. But beyond that, is there anyone else who should be moved or we think should be moved?
I mean, I don't know. I'd be okay with getting rid of Tokarski, but at the same time, I don't know. I need another goalie, so
yeah. Well, Luukkonen is supposed to come back at sometime soon, right?
No. I mean, I'm not upset with Anderson. Like, I think Anderson does pretty well. I think he averages about 2.3 goals a game, which if you can hold the team to, if you can score more than 2 goals, you'll pretty much win with him in the game. And to me, that's not, I don't mind Anderson. Tokarski is a liability, though.
Tokarski definitely is not someone you want as your number one goalie.
Yeah.
Or your number 2. He's best playing in Rochester. I think ideally you would want Anderson and Luukkonen playing, but Noah, you and I were talking earlier about Anderson, and do you think he should be moved?
I mean, Luukkonen showed he can play well. If you can get a second for him, why not? It's kind of one of those things. It depends on what you can get for him. Another guy you can move is Cody Eakin to a playoff team. Then he's a 4th line guy that knows how to win faceoffs. That's Cody Eakin. So we'll take like a 4th, 5th.
He's got a mullet. Yeah. Yeah. So I think those are good options. As far as Anderson, I think Anderson would probably be the guy that I would want to move most. Because I think you'll get the most for him, and he's 41 years old or 40 years old at this point. Yeah, he's almost as old as me. So he's definitely old. But the other guy who I might think about moving is Hinostroza. I don't know where your thoughts are on that, but I know he's been hurt for a little bit. But I would definitely consider moving him as well. I don't know what your thoughts are. I don't know that he plays a huge role in the Sabres going forward, but Hinostroza would be another guy who I would think about moving. Okay. So that's all I have to say about that. So the NFL and the XFL are teaming up in a G League kind of deal, but they are not sharing players. They're just sharing rules. So it's more like, actually, there isn't really anything like that right now. It would be like AAA baseball if they weren't sharing players. So, in the sense of basically the XFL and the NFL are teaming up to, and the NFL is using the XFL to utilize them for testing out new rules. And the other part that I found interesting about this was new equipment, which which made me a little feel a little strange about it. But
So we're gonna get Will Smith's kid playing some doctor in 30 years about the XFL now.
Yeah. And about what a bad idea it was.
I
or
do have
something
breaking
like that.
news from the games on Sunday. Juwan Howard has been suspended 5 games
That's
for
it.
that altercation versus Wisconsin.
That's all he was by the NCAA or the Big Ten or
Yeah,
Michigan.
I think it was I think it's by the NCAA.
Okay. CJ, did you see that fight?
I've seen a couple like still shots of him throwing the punch. I didn't really see how it transpired or anything like that, to be honest. If you could go through that with me, that'd be great.
Sure, you want to take us through, Noah?
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin was up big. They had their backups in. The Wisconsin head coach, Greg Bard, wanted to call a timeout to advance the ball with like 10 seconds left. They were up by 15 or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, something like that.
And he did. He took the timeout and they scored. And then Juwan Howard afterwards wouldn't shake his hand and was like, "I'll remember that." And then that started the whole thing.
I wonder what caused him to do that in the first place. Like why he decided to do that, call that.
Michigan was playing a full court press.
Okay.
And so I think from what I understand, Wisconsin was actually having trouble getting the ball in.
Okay. Wow.
So it's kind of a mixed bag about
whether it was it necessary or not necessary.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's like if you're gonna, and I think he said something like this, like Coach Gard from Wisconsin said, well, if you're gonna play a full court press, we're gonna keep playing too.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it, in my opinion.
And then Howard actually didn't even hit the right coach when he scored.
He hit an assistant.
That's always the worst. It's never a good look. You don't even hit the guy you're aiming for.
Yeah. He had he hit him with a claw too. He didn't really punch him.
Okay. Like open fist.
He did like the over the top.
Yeah.
They were already trying to separate him, and then Howard was just like,
got it.
Yeah, it was crazy but if you think about it, that from Juwan Howard may hurt just as much as an open fist because he probably has hands the size of,
probably.
He's 6'10", 6'11", something like that.
Yeah.
So 5 games. What do you think, Noah? Is that enough?
I guess.
Howard's not a first-time offender. He has gotten into a fight as a coach before too.
I mean, he didn't keep going after the guy, so I don't know. I mean, I don't really know. How do you judge that kind of stuff? 5 games, that's fine. I mean, there aren't that many games left anyway, and you're trying to enter your stretch run going into the championship. So now you have your backup coaching staff trying to just keep things going while you're not there. So, I mean, that's pretty significant. I think those 5 games might be the last 5 games of the regular season anyway. So you don't have your head coach for possibly till the end of the regular season. So, I mean, this is a pretty significant ban for Michigan. I mean, they're not a bubble team, but they're a team that could fight for position because there's a huge difference between being an 8 seed and having to fight a 7th and being a 5th. And, if Michigan somehow pulls out a win or does really well in the conference championship, there's a possibility that could bump them up in the rankings a little, and that could help them get an easier game. And, that's what you're always aiming for when you're heading into March. So losing him for 5 games, that's big when they're a Michigan team. He's a player's coach, so his players respond to him, and that's the way I view him. So it's a big ban.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's big enough, in my opinion, but I think he should have just been banned for the rest of the season, to be honest, especially since it's not his first time throwing, because he really threw down, in my opinion. I know, Noah, you think he kind of let up a little, but I don't think he did. I think he instigated it, and then I think he was throwing. Even the one throw he got in, it was a pretty good haymaker, at least in my opinion.
Michigan, look at their schedule. That's the 5-game suspension is till the end
The
of
rest of the regular season.
Yeah.
Wow, shocking.
But the last 5 games, they play 15th ranked Illinois.
But why does it matter who they play?
What do you mean?
Why does it matter who they're playing? Yeah,
positioning. It just keeps them. If they win these, if they have an easy schedule towards the end of the season, and they're positioned,
they need to win these games to stay relevant.
Right, they move up, and yeah.
No, I understand that. Team. I understand that, but if you're the team, or if you're the person who's issuing the sanctions against him, or doing the deliberation over how long the ban should be, why does it matter who they're playing?
It doesn't. It matters for Michigan, because now they're not going to have their head coach against. They're playing 3 top 25 teams in the last 5 games when they've struggled against top 25 teams. They're also playing a Rutgers team that has beaten Michigan State and I think either Illinois or Iowa in the past 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. So they have 5 tough games and they have to play Michigan State again, who demolished them last game they played. So I'm saying from Michigan's perspective, this is.
Yeah, I thought you were saying tough. I just took it the other way. I took it the other way. Like I thought you were saying from the person doing the suspension, like that it should matter who they have left to play.
Yeah, I get it.
So that's where I was saying doesn't matter, or should it matter? And I don't think it does. But like I said, my opinion is he should have been suspended for the rest of the year. So look, you're there, right, to mold young men, right? And I mean, it's such a joke that these are things that are said, but this is the face that they put on, right? Is that you're there to mold these players into whatever into the future and be able to have a future as they go out into the world. And maybe 2 of these guys will play in the NBA. Maybe 2 of these guys will play in Europe and whatever, but these guys aren't all gonna play. And so, right, there's the student athlete side of it. And then there's also just Juwan Howard is my role model. Right? Coach Howard is my role model. So when you're seeing that, like, is that what you want to see? Because the last time they got into a fight, he said, well, that's how we do it in Detroit.
Well, okay, let's not just be critical of Juwan Howard here, though. I do agree with you, though. And I do think also it's a general thing across college basketball that most coaches are player coaches, because that's kind of the way you have to be, right? Like, you can't be like a Popovich unless maybe you're Krzyzewski and you just create greatness, but like you have to be that first. But I mean, also Greg Bard didn't respond to that well at all. I mean, he stood on the court, yelled for them to get off, said, "Get off my court." Let like one of his seniors run around getting everybody hyped up, saying, "We're going to sing whatever their alma mater is," running around saying like, and then he's standing there going, I'm right here, as Michigan's walking away. and they had to all be separated. Interestingly enough, that he came from the back to the front to say these things, but neither coach responded well to the situation, in my opinion.
No, I mean, Howard was like, "Don't touch me," and then guard touched him, and whatever. I mean, you can go back and forth, but I mean, guard wasn't the one throwing punches. That's where I'm at, and it is his court. They do sing the alma mater at the end of every game. I mean, those are things that happen. Get off my court. Let me sing the alma mater. Um, So grandma has a comment saying, I think the reason he looked like he was backing off was because others were pushing him back. It seemed clear that if no one had stopped him, he would have gone on. And I think that that's a very valid point, that he was heading forward, and then I thought actually he was being even held back by players. Not even just assistant coaches. So anyway, I guess we're beating a dead horse at this point. Okay, so let's talk about the you guys want to talk about the Bills, the draft, or free agency, or how all three intertwine?
Why don't we just do all three?
All right. So the Bills, they're a football team. They play out of Buffalo. And okay, so there's a couple things that have been going through my head. Is the schedule next year? Let's start with the schedule next year, because it's not going to be very easy, in my opinion. They go out west. They play some really tough teams, and that's what happens when you finish first, right? So I think, what do you do if you're the Bills right now? Do you look at the schedule next year and do you say, because my take is, and this is just my take, and it's almost like not taking a step back, but just taking a pause on trying to push down the pedal and just going for it. Because I think what they should do, especially because of what we've seen with some of the issues I think we've seen too many holes. That's kind of my take, is we've seen the holes now. And do we think that the Bills are good enough to win the AFC next year?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think they're good enough to win the AFC. I mean, I think you have to, again, and I'm not trying to be, a biased Bills fan here. I just think you also have to look at Vegas and how they have us favored to be in the Super Bowl. We're one of the, and so it's like, to me, that's just kind of consensus around the globe, or around the country right now, that they got
Bills
me going with the
Mafia's
globe
global.
stuff. Yeah. Well, no, just around the country.
Right?
Other people feel this way, right? It's not just us for once that feels this way. It's clearly that other people feel like they're the favorite. You know what I mean? So that's how I think so. And then that kind of backs me up. That makes me feel like, okay, that maybe I am right about it.
That's fair. Noah, do you think that they're a Super Bowl team?
Absolutely. I mean, you're obviously not going to have the same team that you did last year, but that's good. That allows you to bring new people in. And, we've seen guys that we haven't expected much from, or we went, who's that? Step up in big moments. And the coaching staff weirdly gets stuff out of them. Think about how bad AJ Klein was and what he turned into near the end here. Tyler Matakevich, another guy, Tywan Jones, I know they're both on special teams, but that's big. They made huge tackles for us. So, yeah, they have holes to fill, but I mean, when you have a quarterback like Allen, he's got Diggs, he's got Gabe Davis, and Dawson Knox. I that seemed to be enough.
Yeah. And my only point I want to make about the schedule is like, yeah, schedules can be like, you get a schedule like that and it's kind of daunting at first. But I really think that with how the NFL is and how there's so much parity and how it just changes every year, and there's some teams are great, and then other, you just don't really know how that's going to shake out, and what one of those teams that was or is really good is
Right.
not going to be as good. You know what I mean? So like maybe
Yeah,
that schedule.
yeah. I've always, I know exactly what you're saying, and I've always said that. And then this year, I look at their schedule and I go, "There's a lot of teams on there that make me nervous, and I don't know why."
What's funny is, again, going back to the AFC thing and the argument I made after the Bills loss in the divisional was just how stacked the AFC is when it comes to quarterbacks, right? And so young guys coming up, it's just, there's a lot of really good quarterbacks, and that's going to be the matchups in the playoffs, and it's like,
Yep.
you say to yourself, okay, well, maybe some of these teams won't be that good, but a lot of them have that elite quarterback in the AFC, and that makes, to me, the rest of the team really doesn't matter at that point. You know what I mean? Like, unless you have major holes on defense or major holes on your offensive line, with a good quarterback, you should be able to weather a lot of inconsistencies other places, unless, like I said, it's catastrophic. Your roster is so bad other places that it really brings you down. But yeah, I just think, again, with just how good all these quarterbacks are and how good the AFC is, it is going to be tough regardless of schedule, just to get into the playoffs, to play these teams in the playoffs. And so I think that, worries me a lot also, as far as going
I think
forward.
that's the part I was thinking too, was like this, they may not even make the playoffs, or they could be 15-2,
Yep.
You just don't know. And I mean, it's not about Josh getting hurt, or, I mean, if Josh gets hurt, it's obviously much easier to say they would miss the playoffs. But even if he doesn't get hurt, there are so many things and fluky things that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, think about the two teams that didn't make the playoffs this year, right? You're talking, and two teams that come to my mind in the AFC, in Baltimore and the Chargers, right? Now, those are two really good teams with really good quarterbacks. Next year, Jackson and Herbert could both have career years, right? And then you're looking at two less spots in the AFC, right? And so that then, and not just that, but also if you make the Super Bowl, or you make the playoffs, then you got to play them, right? So it's like, none of it makes me happy. None of it makes me feel like it's a gimme. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the kind of thing. But at the same time, I went into my son's room and they got the Josh Allen poster or the cutout, and then they got a Diggs poster, an Allen poster, and it's like, just what a time to be a Bills fan, though. You know what I mean? Like just the fact that we're having this conversation, and it made me think when I looked in their room, and it just made me think about like how when I was younger and we didn't even really want to get posters and get cutouts and get all that stuff, because they really just weren't good for 10-15 years of my life. You know what I
didn't
mean?
even know how long they were going to be here for.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it just wasn't even worth, doing all that and putting all the effort into it just to be upset every week. And, it's just like, for them to get what they've gotten out of the team, it blows me away. It's just such a contrast from what I dealt with as a child. And it's just like, I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they get to be through this, and that's great. And that's amazing. Like, and I was thinking, like I said, what an amazing time to be a Bills fan, to be a child, to be growing up in this, to be seen, you know what I mean? Just, that's amazing. And so, again, I just think that's huge, and that aspect can't be overlooked, that we went through so much mediocrity to be where we are right now. And, it's just, I just enjoying the ride. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to sound cliche, and I don't want to make it seem like there's not much that needs to be done, because there's stuff that needs to be done also. But, I just always want to keep that in mind, kind of.
That's fair. I think that's fair. So we got questions. We got some questions. Keep Beasley or not, and pursue McCaffrey or not. Noah, you can start.
I think we cut Beasley. We saved us $6 million, and it depends on the price. But I don't know. I mean, Singletary came on the second half of the year. I mean, if you're going to get McCaffrey, you're saying, you're putting Singletary on the back burner. So it comes down to, I guess, how much they trust Singletary, which it felt like they did a lot at the end. So I don't know. I don't think they'll do it. But if they're going to spend a first round pick, I think they're going to spend it elsewhere.
You mean on a player?
If they were to spend it on a player, yeah. Like if they were to do a Diggs trade with a different position, I don't think it would be that.
Or the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I think Beasley just has too much of a high salary or a high salary cap number to not cut, especially based on his production. And then when it comes to McCaffrey, that's a hard no for me. That's kind of how I feel. When guys continually get injured, they continually get injured. And that's just how I see it. You have a couple maybe bad years in a row, but I don't know, when you're missing 8 games and longer stretches, it's different than getting turf toe, and being unlucky. Yeah. So that's how I feel about those. Anything to add, CJ?
With the Beasley situation, I think you just hit on a little bit of the we've seen that, with his production, and I think his lack of production also has a lot to do with other guys stepping up and taking advantage of opportunities. And so him doing that, him not being needed as much and seeing the offense function great at times without him. Yeah, he's great when, you need 8 hard yards and a first down or whatever. He can, he's pretty solid at that. But as far as game changing, it's just not there anymore for him. So yeah, I'm fine with moving on from him. I'm fine with letting the guys that are in house now take those opportunities that he is given and see what they could do with them. And the McCaffrey thing, he's a very twitchy player, right? He's a very cut, move, juke, whatever. And when you go through that kinds of injuries for so many periods of time, yes, he hasn't played many games over the past 2-3 years, but still those injuries cause your movement to slow, whether it's your cuts, whether it's your spin move, whatever, you know what I mean? You're not able to function like you are. And so I question if that has how much of an impact those injuries are going to have on how he can play. And, not only just that, I like what Singletary did next year to swing for the fences on somebody that's at this moment back to a question mark, as far as health and stuff like that. We know what he can do when he's on the field, but to swing for the fences and give up a first for him, to me, would be a good way to doom a franchise. Like those are those decisions that make you look very foolish if you don't get them right.
Bad franchises make. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the Giants will do it or something. It'll be Dable's 1-2 punch.
Yes.
McCaffrey and Barkley.
And see how sustainable that is in the NFL today.
Right. So, CJ, I think you made a really good point about enjoying the ride. And I think to that end, one of the you talk about Josh just, being the poster and all of that kind of stuff. And I think, would we enjoy this ride without Josh? Like with any other quarterback or anything like that? I don't feel like we would, like, in my opinion. Like, it just feels different because we have Josh. And I don't know, maybe we would, maybe if Justin Herbert.
Yeah, I was going to say, depends on the quarterback. If we were able to do this with a stopgap guy and somehow we had success for 2-3 years with a Kirk Cousins or something like that, yeah, I wouldn't be as excited as I am with the fact that we have who we have. You know what I mean? So I kind of get, if that's where you're going, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So that was my other thought on that. Noah, anything else you want to add at that point? Noah, throw up a topic. Oh, okay. You good there, Noah?
I just lagged really bad. So if you were talking to me that whole time, nope.
Okay.
I have no idea what was just said to me
You
at
owe
all.
me $150 now.
Oh, okay.
That was the bet. You missed it. No, I said throw up a topic, and then there was dead silence. So,
no, I was coming out of a lag, so I don't know. What
no.
Yeah.
I think. Well, let's play. Let's play this week's version of NFL quarterback round.
Carousel?
Yep.
Round.
Spinny thing.
Yeah.
So here's what we have. Here's what we have this week. Guys to talk about. Okay, we're gonna start with here's the list: Carson Wentz, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Mitch Trubisky, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold, and Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, and potentially Tom Brady. So, Noah, where do you want to start?
Oh boy, that's quite the list. I don't know. Let's start at the beginning. Why don't we just go through them? Just go through
Wentz.
them. Are we deciding if they're going to be there or not next year? Like where they are?
We could start there and then figure out where.
I don't think he's going to be in Indy next year.
Okay.
I really think that even if they don't get a trade partner, they're just going to dump him.
Even after giving up a first and a third and a first or whatever they gave up.
Indy doesn't seem to care that much.
All right.
About stuff like that. I don't know.
So let's grab the other quarterbacks and tell me who they're going to replace them with.
I think they'll just draft somebody. I don't know. They might draft somebody.
Not Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
The Steelers said Mason Rudolph's their starter.
And, the Vikings said they're going to keep Kirk Cousins, and the Giants said they're not going to bring in any competition for Daniel Jones. These are the type of things that are said before quarterbacks get replaced. We should just, I think, start accepting that.
It's true.
It happens every year.
True.
It's been an occurring trend now. Oh, yeah, we support him wholeheartedly, even though he's terrible, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Or
okay, so where is Kirk Cousins going? 1 year left on his contract.
I think they'll keep him for the year, but I think whoever they hired there will either somebody this year, and they'll bring in somebody behind them that they like. I don't know who it'll be, but outside hire.
Fair enough. Thoughts on Cousins?
Honestly, with the grade of quarterback that's coming out, I really don't see a lot of these guys moving. So, in my opinion, I don't see Cousins going anywhere this year, unless So
next year is not supposed to be any better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so I know you named a lot of guys, right? I think Wentz stays, and I think Wentz stays also, but that's me. So. In reality, though, let's throw away all the guys that 90 90% chance they'll probably be where they are. And then who do we have? Rodgers.
Okay, so you think Kyler's going to stay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely think that?
I'd give him a 90% at this moment until I see something concrete that says, besides this, reports on his Instagram and what he's doing on his Instagram, I gotta stay.
Well, there are deeper reports that the organization isn't happy with him.
Well, I've heard there's a lot of dysfunction within the organization in general, between Kingsbury and Keem and all those guys. So that does kind of worry me also. But at the same time, like, I don't even understand how you work that contract situation. You know what I mean? Doesn't he have another 2 years? So like, how does he have any leverage in this situation to say that he's going anywhere?
Right. Aside from
Not
saying I'm
playing.
going to play baseball.
Okay, yeah, and like sitting out, right? So
right.
Then you can go play baseball for a lot less money.
That's
for now.
it. Just So who
they'll
else
hold his rights no matter when he comes back.
I mean, I guess like you got to say Wilson is a true, could go somewhere. I'd say he's probably at best or at worst
like
50-50
shot in my eyes.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like
you got Rodgers, you got Wilson,
Garoppolo.
Again, with this Garoppolo situation, I don't think Lance is ready. I'm not there to say he's ready yet. So I don't, does Shanahan want a whole year of, if this guy doesn't work out, like, then we're stuck with him? Or does Shanahan want another year of Garoppolo, let him sprinkle Lance in a little bit more? Lance comes out, does something crazy. Fine. Give him the reins. But I don't know. Tough. Go ahead.
What if there was one player who just retired who has always wanted to play for the 49ers his entire life?
Yeah.
Well, they went with Garoppolo once. When it came to that decision.
Yeah, I think that would be easy. I think then, Garoppolo would be gone in that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've heard about Brady is that he's under contract, and one of the reasons he retired is that he wants to go play in San Francisco, but he wants Tampa to let him out of his contract.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. If that's true, that's crazy. And I'd be really upset if I was Tampa.
To follow him to Tampa.
Well, yeah, they did Pats gave him permission to go, but I just feel like we literally just signed you 2 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you played 2 seasons and
well, the first season was a 1 year, and then he just re-upped last year.
No, but I'm saying, okay, well, see, I don't know whose decision making that is. I don't know if that's him saying I want a 1 year, or that's them telling him, like, we don't know if you're going to be good enough next year. I don't know, because that makes me question, like, because I'm thinking from the team's perspective, if I rolled the red carpet out, brought all these guys in to put around him to make this run with him, and he decides to quit for us and go to another team, my thinking would be, well, why didn't you just go to that team instead of coming here 2 years ago? I mean, yes, you won a Super Bowl, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. Well, that's how I look at it.
What's the quote, Noah?
Garoppolo.
San Francisco chose Garoppolo over Brady.
Yeah, so he's like,
I definitely.
Yeah. So
the other part of it was Brady was apparently upset with like their management before he retired, and like the program, like the coaching program and all that stuff, I guess.
Oh, really?
And the way it was run. Was it the TB12 method?
He wasn't happy with Arizona, or not Arizona. He wasn't happy with Tampa?
Yeah, he wasn't happy with them when he left. That's the report.
The report.
The report.
We'll find
That's
it.
what they say. So, okay, Noah, you're going to walk me through this because I'm an old man.
Okay.
All right. How do I share screen. Oh,
At
there's
the
a screen.
bottom where it says share.
Yeah. I'm fine with this at work, just so you all know.
We believe you.
No, he messages me on Teams.
Yeah, and I tell you how to do stuff.
I was gonna say yeah.
Except share your screen.
Well, I'm not going to share my screen with someone who works outside of the company, right? So, just give me 1 second.
We're not going anywhere. The viewers might.
The viewers might, but
we're
hey,
not.
hey, viewers,
Hey, you're losing
just
them.
wait a second. What'd you say? Are you
you're
watching
losing
our
them.
viewers? I'm not losing them. There's still 3. Don't go anywhere. Just hold on. This is very
So
important.
CJ, what are you
Oh, I lost you.
into the way the NBA All-Star game is? Each
Uh,
quarter is its own thing. You're donating money to charity.
yeah. I like that. I didn't mind that for the NFL.
Charities to make it flag football. Yeah. So,
No,
mean,
I liked it. I thought it was interesting.
ridiculous stuff happens.
You completely like zoned out.
Okay, I was wondering if it was just me.
No, Noah went all Radiohead on us. Okay, so before I reshare my
he's
screen,
back. Okay, I just saw his face move. All right, good.
Yeah, before I reshare my screen,
I was talking that whole time.
Yeah,
I heard a little bit of it.
Wow.
I think you were just talking about doing the NBA or doing the NFL kind of like the NBA, or no?
Yeah. You make it flag football.
I like it
for its own thing.
Yeah, no, that's dope. I think that's a good suggestion for sure.
All right, so now I have to share again. So y'all just need to hold on because this is very important.
We believe you. Cool.
Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Da-da-da-da. Okay, can you see the picture that I am sharing? Kind of.
I don't. Unless I'm not supposed to.
I don't know. Noah, can you see it? It says StreamYard is sharing your screen, so hold on.
There he is. Now I see it.
Now you see it?
Yep.
Oh, there. Okay. So, do we know who that person is?
On the left.
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes.
Okay.
That's Josh Allen's hand on the right.
Correct.
Stop it.
Not kidding.
Stop it.
I think somebody's trying to do some recruiting.
Stop. That's crazy.
Yep.
Looks like a girl's hand. That ain't
It's Josh
Josh's
Allen.
hand.
It's Josh's hand.
No, in the left. In the left.
I know.
That's Britt. And the right. And the right. On the right side.
This is Britt. Yep. That's Josh over here.
That's pretty fire.
So, yep. Guys doing some
That was very that was worth the wait. I hope everyone waited for that. That was very worth it. That was exciting. I'm excited.
So, yeah, they're all hanging out together in the Caribbean.
Best friends. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Are we?
Like I said, I think that was worth the wait and totally worthwhile.
I just had a quick question for you guys. Are we putting anything real into the reports about Mahomes and his family?
He debunked that.
I don't think it's true at all, but that's me personally.
I want them to be real.
I know a lot of people do. I don't know.
Probably
I
including
don't hate them
himself.
as much as I probably should, but
He rolled it back, right?
yeah.
And we just don't know if he rolled it back because people inside his family went crazy on him, or if he rolled it back because
Truly isn't true. Yeah,
right,
got it. I didn't know he
right,
rolled it back. Yeah,
I don't know. And I mean the way he did roll it back, he was like, LOL, that's so fake. Oh my god, all these publications making fake stories. How dare you? This is my family.
Duh.
right.
But then the video of him telling his fiance to stop having bad RBF
What's
comes
that?
out immediately after.
What's that? What's RBF?
Resting. It's,
Oh, he said
it's-
that to his girl.
yeah, and they caught him on camera saying it
They were
when
at
they
an
were.
NBA game.
No, they were
Well,
at the
they were at
Texas Tech
game.
Texas Tech
Oh,
basketball
that's
game,
funny.
and they were sitting on the sidelines and or sitting side court rather, and she turns to Jackson, I guess, and says, Patrick just told me that I shouldn't have resting face.
And then goes like this.
Yep. And then she made a face. Yeah. So yeah, that came out right after the reports came out of him rolling it back, which was great.
And then there was the report earlier where there was apparently discourse in their marriage, and they were fighting and all this stuff.
They're not married.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
or not their relationship, whatever.
Okay. All
And
right.
that they were debating about or Patrick was debating about marrying her, and they were arguing, and then he had to do the same thing. And
Trouble in Paradise.
yeah,
yeah,
I think at a certain point you do have to say something. Like maybe you don't have to go full blown like intervention with them, but I think if you're
right.
Mahomes, I mean, and he's right. This is hurting his brand.
Right.
I mean, he represents the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs.
But
I
it's
mean,
not hurting his brand in KC though. It's hurting his brand, outside. To me, it's more of just like
yeah, but there's a difference between
fans who don't like him that are just, because they lose to him every time their team comes to play him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
That's my view on it. Like, if we crushed him and they were not in the Super Bowl every year, nobody would care. You know what I mean? But the fact is that
I don't know. I cared when Juju danced on the logo.
But that's not the same thing. It's not him. You know what I mean? Like to me, if it was Mahomes dancing on a logo, yeah, no, that's tons of reasons. I agree with you. I mean, the fact that it's his brother, though. You know what I mean? It's like it's not really him. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I just think it has a lot more to do with people just either don't like that he's so good and don't like that he's been to so. I truly think that's the case. I don't really think it's the fact that he's a terrible person, like the Paul situation. We can use that as an example how much he hates him, and in my opinion, that was all just because he beat us whenever he came here. I never really got it. I still don't like. He sends videos. People will show videos of him being like a so-called a-hole at press conferences, and I still don't. I don't know. To me, you're fishing. You're trying to find something. You find a reason to dislike him, and I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not in that boat. I don't know why.
That's fair. I understand where you're coming from. I see that perspective.
Yeah.
I can totally, I'm just not 100% behind it.
Yeah.
I do think that they do disrupt the brand in his outside of the NFL image, right?
I think it's outside of KC image even.
Well, I think it's the image where he's trying to make money off of commercials, and then like if he's still trying to use that as the brand, the casual viewer is who this is gonna sort of turn off to him, I guess, more than the hardcore.
Okay.
Your hardcore viewer, your hardcore guys, your hardcore football guys, I think fall more under what CJ's saying. It's like they're finding a reason to dislike him because he's so good, right? And then but I think like more with your people who are seeing it from a further point of view,
or seeing it just through TikTok. I mean,
right
outside it, like,
right, and they're like, this is who he associates himself with, this guy who's a typical sneakerhead,
That's a good point.
Plus he says feelings instead of feelings, and that bothers me so much.
Oh yeah, that would make me cringe too. I don't, he like, you're talking about his brother, right? Says that?
No, Mahomes. Patrick does.
Oh. Also sounds like a comment.
Okay.
He says feelings instead of feelings. Yeah. It bothers me a lot.
I think that's a Midwest thing, because Jackie and I watched this true crime podcast, and they're from Idaho, and that's the way they say feelings too.
Is Idaho Midwest?
Yeah, it's right next to like Montana.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always thought of it as Northwest, I guess. Mid-Northwest. I don't know. We're Western New York. Anyway.
It's in the West.
You didn't know.
So.
It's in the middle of the it's in the middle section.
Yeah, like how is Chicago in the Midwest? But it is. So I would say Idaho is also.
I'm gonna pull up a map. No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on. He's got to share a screen. Hold on.
I gotta share my screen.
Right,
show everyone.
Stand by.
Show everyone a map
for 5 minutes
of the United States. So, no, but let's go back to that picture of Christian Kirk. Are we happy with the idea of Christian Kirk, Isabel?
Yeah, for sure.
Please.
Oh, okay. Wow. You're both like really on board with that, huh?
Well, yeah, okay, if they get rid of Beasley and they get rid of McKenzie and they get rid of Sanders, and then you're able to bring in Diggs, Davis, and then you have Christian Kirk.
I'm on board with it. If you score the
sidelines.
like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that situation screams like a rapport and a relationship. And if they got that relationship that start, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it would have been different had I not seen that, because then it's like, okay, well, we do want them or whatever, but like, how's the relationship going to be like with Josh? You know what I mean? Or how's like, that's my thinking on it. But when you see them together already, it's like, oh, well then, yeah, definitely. Like, could we get him over here? Like,
yeah.
And if he's down, and like, to me, that's a culture thing. Like, if Josh is convincing him of the culture and letting him know, like, this is how we do stuff here, and and it's not just like he had no idea he was getting traded or he was going there. It's just, or you know what I'm saying? Like, he wants to come here. That's totally different to me.
He is a free agent. Yes.
No, that's why I misspoke. But the fact that he, would want to come here and out of all those other places, to me, means a lot more. You know what I mean? Like, instead of us offering a lot of money to get him and that being the reason he wants to come here.
Right.
I like the idea
knowing that your quarterback courted him. And
and he'd be like, okay, yeah, we'll do this. And, I'll take a little bit less this year or something to make sure that you guys are good. You know what I mean? Then definitely, yeah, for sure. Get over here.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, that's a really good point. That made me got a little adrenaline going.
And we also, we don't know 100% that Josh was courting him, but let's assume that
what else was he doing?
But how cool is it to see that?
But so like, in my mind, right? If I'm an NFL football player, that stuff that wouldn't come up in your head. Like, you're sitting across the table from an impending free agent, probably one of the best young prospects coming up in the wide receiver sphere, right?
Yep.
You're telling me that if you're sitting there having dinner with him, that doesn't come up one time, like, yo, what could we do if we were on the same team? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's your job. That is what you both do for a living. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see no way. That's the only reason you guys are connected, right? Like, let's be honest. If you guys weren't both playing football, you wouldn't be sitting down together. Yeah. So to me, that has a lot to do with, like, that conversation has to happen. You know what I mean? Like, if it's me, I'm, it's going to come up, and regardless of how serious it is, it plants the seed.
For both sides.
Yeah.
Right.
How cool is it to see Allen do that?
I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, to see, like, when's the last time that's happened?
Yeah.
Well, the interesting
out
thing,
of his way.
The interesting thing is that it was from Kirk's Instagram, which makes it even more interesting because he's
Very
posting.
interesting.
Christian Kirk is saying, "Hey, I'm with Josh Allen."
Ah,
Josh Allen
I like
saying,
it even
"I'm
more
with Christian
now.
Kirk."
I like it even more now. Instead
And
of it
the
being
other
like,
part I like it is it
Mhm.
wasn't just the two of them hanging out like golfing or something. Because like I
Right.
feel like I would view that differently. Like this was like them and like their significant others
yeah,
hanging out
At
together,
a
like
tiki
having
hut.
fun.
Yeah.
And you know what? I agree with you, CJ. I think you're right. I mean, when you're sitting there, you're having drinks, you're eating food. I mean, it looks like they were at a club. So like definitely you know that their girls walked away at some point. And I bet you the same thing happened with them too, where she was like,
Right.
Buffalo's not that bad. Like it's
Right.
not
Oh,
that
yeah.
bad.
yeah,
It
yeah,
gets
yeah.
cold,
Yeah.
but it's not that bad. And
But you leave
Josh
in
is like,
December or January.
Right,
After January,
right.
you're done. Go
Right.
Right.
leave for
After
2 more months.
January, we're here.
after January,
Yeah.
we go to Fireball.
Exactly.
We're in Cali.
Exactly. That's exactly how I look at it.
But like, and then with Josh, you know, once they walked away, I bet you he's just swung in. And
Mhm.
how cool is it to see Josh Allen do that? To
Yeah.
like be there.
Yeah. Just like, hey, keep us in mind, you know, and hey,
Right.
if he feels that, who wouldn't want to come to Buffalo at this point with him?
As a
God
receiver,
damn, if you can if you can get the ball, if you can run downfield faster than the cornerback, who wouldn't want him to throw the ball to him? You know, he
Right.
can get you anywhere on the field. Like,
right.
he's a speedster's dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that style not only just fits well, you know what I mean? Like, but again, if they can get some sort of, you know, in connection before free
That's true.
agency, give me a
Mhm.
break. Like, that's huge for the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, let this guy go out and get our free agents for us. Jesus, pay him a freaking whatever that salary is that they're giving Bean for doing that shit. Give it to Allen.
I think one of you guys also said too after the Kansas City game, get your Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. Get your guy who
He's
Allen can
actually
just
fast.
Allen can just throw the ball to as far as he actually wants
Yeah,
to.
but then, but
and-
also like can do those drag routes
right.
and bring something more to the table than McKenzie can. You know what I mean? Like do
Yep.
the drag routes, but at the same time move down, be able to go downfield. You know, like because those
Right.
drag routes just killed us with Hill. You know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah.
so tough to cover with, you know, zone. Don't matter. Like you put him in zone, guy stands there and he's moving full speed, and a guy standing in zone. Good luck.
Mhm.
Good luck.
Well, the thing that's interesting about Kirk too is that Kyler Murray led the league in completion percentage.
Right.
And so he's used to being he can, I mean, he obviously played a part in that. And you know that that's not a negative, you know, coming in when we had some annoyances, especially with Sanders and drops,
yeah.
you know, but you know that that's going to be a positive thing coming in with Kirk. Cause I mean, he was
He doesn't
wide
drop much.
receiver one once Hopkins went down.
Oh yeah.
So,
And I thought, and from my opinion, he played very well. Well, he was down. You know,
yep.
I don't know what it is about late season Kyler that, you know, or late season Kingsbury that limits him. But you know what I mean. I think if Hopkins goes down earlier in the season, he's looking at a top 15 season. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. So did we decide where Aaron Rodgers was going to go?
He is going to Denver with Hackett. That is what I'm sticking with.
That's fair.
What I'm going
But
with.
then all the mock drafts would be wrong because
What are they
all the
saying?
mock they're saying Denver's going to take a quarterback and whatever at pick 9.
Well, when do they decide the ownership situation?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's all working and when that's
Like,
going to
I
happen.
would almost, if I'm Rodgers, like I'd almost want to go there if Peyton gets it.
Yeah.
More so than if Elway was there.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree.
So that's interesting to think about.
No, next topic.
What do you got for me?
I gave you all those topics.
Yeah, we talked about them all.
Oh, okay. So we all want the Bills to draft that guy from Alabama.
Lineman?
Yeah.
Evan Neal.
Cool.
No, Evan Neal is going first overall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So Bills, go get him. What the heck?
Go get him. Oh, actually, this is what I wanted to ask. So, okay, I don't like the Bills being at 25. I think that's a pretty terrible position, especially for like this draft. There's something about 25 that just like irks me, and like wherever the depth of players are, like 25 doesn't seem like the right gap to be in. And so, if you could trade higher into the draft and like lose a fourth or a third or whatever to get someone someone quote unquote better, or get whoever your guy is, right? Or trade back and get more picks, which would you do?
I'm moving back. That's what I'm thinking. I think at that point in the draft, you're limited as far as, what you're going to get. And I think that, what you get at 25, you could easily get early in the second pretty similarly.
Yeah. Because Noah's boy, Linden Bomber, he's now projected in like the top 15. So, like, I'm seeing him in like the top 15, top 20, like everywhere. I'm just saying that's what I'm seeing. And but I am seeing what's his face from Alabama. And Evan Neal is from North Carolina State, isn't he?
looking it up.
You're really on the ball tonight.
He's from Alabama. He's an offensive tackle from Alabama.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know who you're thinking of.
I don't know either then. All right. So I was not thinking of, but the guy I want them to take is Jordan Davis if he's there. I think
He's from Georgia. You would have just said Georgia. I want to know exactly who you were talking about.
Well, I guess they could take Wyatt too. He's from Georgia too, though. But I don't know. Jordan Davis is the hulking beast of a man and whatever. So I think that's what they need, right? They need that guy that we always talk about. Who
doesn't like a hulking beast of a man? I don't know.
Right.
I think everybody does.
I know. It's so true. So I guess that's the end of our show because we're kind of all discombobulated today. And so if you want to win the Funko, Noah, how did you tell them how to win?
Just go subscribe.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
YouTube, okay. Yeah.
YouTube. So just go to YouTube and search for Gameday716 if you want to win the Funko. And then we'll find you and track you down and we'll send them out because we still owe people their shirts. So that's going to put a surprise on Noah's face, I know, but and we'll get those out too. So we thank you all for watching, and appreciating us for whatever today actually was. And Noah, take us home.
All right. If you made it to the end, we appreciate you for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, interact with us. We are on Twitter at Gameday716. And as always, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time.
Stay sunny, Buffalo.